The restaurant hero man's blind date stood him up, until twin girls burst in screaming, "Help! They're hurting our mom!" Ethan Carter checked his watch for the fifth time, 7:03 p.m. His blind date was now 33 minutes late. He sat alone at the upscale Italian restaurant, nursing a glass of water while trying to ignore the pitying looks from the hostess. His best friend Jake had set this up. "Trust me, man. Rachel is perfect for you. Smart, funny, kind. You two will hit it off." Ethan had been skeptical but desperate enough to try. At 32, after a brutal divorce 2 years ago, getting back into dating felt like learning a foreign language. He'd bought a new brown leather jacket for tonight, gotten a haircut, even practiced conversation topics in the mirror. Now he just felt like an idiot. His phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "Sorry, can't make it. Emergency came up." That was it. No explanation. No apology. Just nothing. Ethan signaled the waiter. "Check, please. Sir, you haven't ordered yet." "I know. I'll just pay for the water and be on my way." The waiter nodded sympathetically and walked away. Ethan stared at the empty chair across from him, feeling the familiar weight of loneliness settle back onto his shoulders. Maybe he wasn't ready for this after all. Then he heard them. Two small voices, high-pitched and terrified, screaming from the restaurant entrance. "Help! Please, someone help! They're hurting our mom! Please!" Ethan's head snapped toward the sound. Two identical twin girls, maybe 7 or 8 years old, stood in the doorway. One wore a burgundy dress with a beige cardigan, the other a sage green dress with a matching cardigan. Their faces were streaked with tears, their eyes wild with panic. The restaurant fell silent. Diners stared, unsure what to do. Ethan didn't think, he just moved. He was out of his chair and crossing the restaurant in seconds, kneeling down to the girls' level. Hey, it's okay, I'm here, what's happening?" The girl in the burgundy dress grabbed his arm with surprising strength. "Our mom, in the parking lot. 2 men, they're hurting her. Please, you have to help." "Where exactly?" Ethan demanded, already standing. "The back parking lot," the other twin cried, pointing. "Please hurry." Ethan looked at the hostess. "Call 911, now. Tell them there's an assault in progress in the back parking lot." Then to the waiter who'd been helping him, "Stay with these girls. Keep them inside." He didn't wait for confirmation, he ran. The back parking lot was dimly lit, shadows stretching between cars. Then Ethan heard it, a woman's scream cut short by the sound of a slap. "Where is it?" a male voice snarled. "The necklace. We know you have it. I told you I don't know what you're talking about." The woman's voice was defiant despite the fear. Ethan rounded a black SUV and saw them. A woman in an elegant black dress on the ground, blood trickling from her lip. 2 men in dark clothes looming over her. One held her arm twisted behind her back, while the other searched through a purse scattered on the pavement. "Hey!" Ethan shouted. "Get away from her!" Both men turned. The one holding the woman sneered. "Mind your business, hero, unless you want to get hurt." "Too late for that," Ethan said, and charged. He wasn't a fighter. He was a software engineer who occasionally went to the gym. But adrenaline and righteous fury made up for technique. He hit the first man like a linebacker, driving him away from the woman. They crashed into a car, and Ethan felt pain explode in his ribs as the man fought back. The second attacker came at him, but Ethan ducked, letting the punch sail over his head. He grabbed the man's jacket and used his momentum to slam him against the SUV. "Run!" Ethan yelled to the woman. "Get inside!" But she didn't run. Instead, she grabbed her purse and swung it like a weapon, connecting with the first attacker's head with a satisfying thunk. "Nobody touches my daughters," she screamed. Sirens wailed in the distance, getting closer. The attackers heard them too. The one Ethan had slammed against the SUV shoved him hard, and both men ran, disappearing into the darkness between buildings. Ethan stumbled, caught himself against a car, pain radiating through his side. The woman was on her feet now, breathing hard, her black dress torn at the shoulder. "Are you okay?" Ethan gasped. She stared at him, and even in the dim light, Ethan could see she was beautiful. Dark hair, striking features, and eyes that were simultaneously terrified and fierce. You just..." She couldn't seem to finish the sentence. "Your daughters," Ethan said. "They're inside. They're safe." The woman's eyes filled with tears. Emma and Lily. Oh God, my babies. Police cars screeched into the parking lot. Officers jumping out with weapons drawn. Everyone on the ground. Hands where we can see them. Ethan and the woman immediately complied, hands raised. We're the victims, the woman called out. Those men ran that way. The next 30 minutes were a blur of statements, paramedics, and flashing lights. Ethan sat in the back of an ambulance while a paramedic examined his ribs, bruised but not broken. Across the parking lot, the woman was reunited with her twin daughters, all three of them crying and holding each other. A detective approached Ethan. Mr. Carter, I'm Detective Mills. That was a brave thing you did. Stupid, you mean, Ethan said, wincing as the paramedic pressed against his ribs. Brave, Detective Mills corrected. Those men have been targeting women in this area for weeks, stealing jewelry. You're the first person who's fought back. He paused. The woman you helped, Rachel Morrison, she says she'd like to thank you. Ethan's head snapped up. Rachel Morrison? Yes. You know her? We were supposed to have a blind date, tonight, here. Ethan started laughing, then stopped because it hurt his ribs. Detective Mills raised an eyebrow. Well, that's one hell of a first date story. After giving his statement, Ethan was cleared to leave. He walked back into the restaurant, which was buzzing with excited chatter about the drama. He found Rachel sitting at a table with her daughters, an ice pack pressed to her swollen lip. She looked up as he approached, and their eyes met. Hi, Ethan said awkwardly. I'm Ethan, your blind date. Rachel's eyes widened. Oh my God, you're Ethan? The twins looked between them with matching expressions of confusion. Mommy, you know him? Asked the girl in the burgundy dress. Emma, Lily, this is... Rachel shook her head in disbelief. This is the man I was supposed to meet tonight. Before those awful men. You saved our mom, Lily exclaimed. You're a hero. I'm really not, Ethan said, sitting down gingerly. Your mom is pretty tough. She held her own out there. Rachel laughed, then winced. Not tough enough, apparently. They wanted my grandmother's necklace. I was wearing it tonight because... She paused, looking embarrassed. Because it's supposed to bring good luck on important occasions. Did it work? Ethan asked with a slight smile. Well, I got mugged, stood up my day, traumatized my children, and looked like I went 3 rounds with Mike Tyson. She touched her swollen lip gently. So, maybe? You didn't stand me up, Ethan pointed out. You were literally being attacked. I think that's a valid excuse. Emma, the twin in burgundy, suddenly grabbed Ethan's hand. Are you going to marry our mommy? Emma. Rachel's face turned bright red. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. It's okay, Ethan said, trying not to laugh. But maybe we should have actual dinner first before we start planning the wedding. You still want to have dinner? Rachel asked, surprised. After all this? Ethan looked at her, bruised, disheveled, surrounded by her daughters, and felt something shift in his chest. Are you kidding? This is already the most memorable date I've ever had. Might as well see it through. Rachel stared at him for a long moment, then slowly smiled. You know what? You're absolutely right. They ordered food, pasta for everyone, with ice cream for the twins. As they ate, Rachel explained what had happened. She'd been running late for their date when the men grabbed her in the parking lot. They'd seen her wearing the antique necklace when she walked in earlier to confirm the reservation. The twins had been in the car, told to wait while Rachel checked in. When they saw what was happening, they'd run for help. Bravest kids I've ever met, Ethan said, raising his water glass to them. The twins beamed. As the evening wound down, Rachel called a car to take them home. Standing outside the restaurant, she turned to Ethan. Thank you, she said quietly. Not just for tonight, but for staying. For still wanting to have dinner. Most men would have run. Most men are idiots, Ethan replied. Then, more seriously, I know we just met under pretty extreme circumstances, but I'd really like to see you again, maybe somewhere without parking lot? Rachel laughed, then winced again at her sore lip. I'd like that too, although I have to warn you, my life is pretty chaotic even without muggers. Single mom, 2 kids, demanding job, software engineer, terrible at cooking, obsessed with sci-fi movies, Ethan countered. We all have our issues. Mommy, I like him, Lily stage whispered. Me too, Emma added. He's brave and funny. Rachel looked at her daughters, then back at Ethan. Well, you've got their approval. That's the hardest part. 3 months later, Ethan sat in the same restaurant, this time in a proper suit, not a torn leather jacket. Rachel sat across from him in a blue dress, her lip fully healed, smiling as he fumbled nervously with something in his pocket. The twins sat at the next table with Ethan's parents, pretending not to watch while absolutely watching. Rachel, Ethan began, then paused as she reached across the table to take his hand. Yes, she said simply. I haven't asked yet, he protested, laughing. Yes, she repeated. Whatever you're about to ask, the answer is yes. Ethan pulled out the ring box and opened it. Inside was a simple, elegant diamond ring, and hanging from a delicate chain was Rachel's grandmother's necklace, which the police had recovered. Will you marry me? He asked. Yes, Rachel said for the third time, tears streaming down her face. From the next table, Emma and Lily erupted in cheers. The entire restaurant applauded. As Ethan slipped the ring onto Rachel's finger, she leaned forward and whispered, Best blind date ever. Not even close, Ethan replied. Best everything ever. Sometimes the worst nights turn into the best stories. When fate throws you into chaos, the real question isn't what happened. It's who was there beside you when it did. True love doesn't start with perfect moments. It starts with people who show up when it matters most.